We're going to start making this little spooky Halloween banner right off the go. We're going to begin by filling in the top of the holes. That's optional. You don't have to do that. I just used some spackling. Then I took some 120 sandpaper after it dried, sanded it off, and then I painted it with some white paint that I had on hand. It really does not matter what kind of paint you use. I made sure to go around the sides and then around the front. You'll see me do that. Making sure to get inside those little eyes as well. It's optional, but after this I went off camera and I ironed on interfacing to the back of all my book pages for a total of 6 of them for the word spooky. And I just attached them to the whole pages like this, like you're seeing in the video. And then I cut them into individual pages and set them aside. So while we're letting these ghosts dry, I'm going to take and I'm going to start making a template for my page. Now the only thing you want to do is make sure your page is large enough to put your pumpkin in the middle for the thing. Now I measured mine are about 5 by 7 inches. They're not very big, okay? So the next thing I want to do is line up the lettering from one side with the other side here. Fold it. That's my middle. Now I'm going to take a ruler, go down this side here. Draw a line. And I'll take my scissors. At the top of that, there we go. Now here it is. So now we've got the top. The only thing we don't have is the point in the bottom. So I'm going to take it like this here. I'll cut the point. So there we have our pendant shape. We just need to punch the holes in the corner. Okay, now that I've got that pendant shape done, so I'm going to take my template, I'm going to line it up with an existing page. And you can either draw around it or you can cut with it using it the way you want to. I'm just going to cut mine. Here's my next one. This one here, I can see I missed a little bit of the white on the corner, so I'll just neaten that up. And once I got all 6 of them done, I'm going to hole punch them. Okay. We're going to make some little black ribbons to put on the top of the ghost. So I'm going to start with about 7 inches of ribbon. I like to make this first tail much longer than the other one because it makes it easier for me to tie it at the end. So I put it down at a bit of a V at an angle. Take this piece, I just wrap it around the fork, and then I fit the end in the slot, in the middle slot of the fork. I wrap it up and over and I hold it in my fingers. So now we basically have it tied, see that? So the reason I like this piece long is it makes this portion a little easier to do. So give that one a bit of a curl. Now we're going to wrap this one up over and then under the other one. See? Now we got our knot made. I'm going to lie it down. I'm going to fiddle with it just a little bit to make sure it's all neat and tidy and, you know, even and all that good stuff. But I want these two ties to be downwards, to be V's going downwards when I tie it. So there it is tied. Okay, I'm going to take it off the ribbon, or off the fork, I mean, and I'm going to cut this off here. I'll make them fairly short for the ghost because we don't want the ribbon in its eyes. And there, I'll put it on the ghost. I'll just glue it on the ghost there. Okay. Now, if for whatever reason you had problems with the ribbon curling or whatever, a little hint I like to use is I take my hair straightener, and you can use it to just flatten it a little bit and neaten up your bows. Totally optional. Okay. And there's your ribbon. So I looked at a couple different ways that I could dirty these little guys up and give them a little bit of distress. And I was thinking you could use this distress oxide. I got some in black soot that I haven't opened up yet. And then I've got this palette of ink. And because it's done on book pages, I thought I'd use the ink instead. I'm just going to take the cover off of this. And I have a sponge. I'm going to take this here and take most of it off. Now, if you make the mistake, I actually did that. Here, I'll show you. Just take some of it off. If you make the mistake of putting too much on, you have to repaint it. I couldn't find another way to take it off. But it does look awfully cute. I just kind of made him look little, just with a couple little dabs on the side there and over here. That's all I'm going to do to him. Okay. So get some more ink, dab most of it off, and I'm going to go around the edges. And now that I think I've got very little ink on, I'm going to go on the top here and very lightly try to give him a couple of little swoosh marks. See that? I'll finish that with all the other ones. So let's put our little ghosts together. I got the ghosts, I got the ribbons, and I made some lettering out of just some paper on the Cricut. You can use whatever you like for that. Dollar Store has them. I also thought of using ink stamps for it, but I ended up choosing to use this paper. So I'm just going to use, I have some of this Craft Bond spray on paint from Elmer's, and I'm going to use that and spray it over top of this paper towel. I'll put that on the middle. There. And then I'm going to use some hot glue to attach my little, I'll use some hot glue here to attach my little ribbon. Now at the beginning, I filled in these holes, but if your hole shows a little bit, you can use this to cover it. You just need a tiny little bit of glue there. Okay, and that's it. Next thing, I'll attach them all to their book pages and we'll be close to done. To put these guys together, you just take the little white ghost, it's all finished, and you attach it to put a bunch of hot glue on the back. And we're attaching it to the front of the interfaced book pages. They're all punched and ready to go, of course. And when you look at this, you can see that I'm lining them up, but I'm kind of cheating by using the lettering of the letters. It's between the top of it's between the second and the third
line, and I use the first one as a guide for the second one for the letter P, and then I continue that through all the others. I think it looks great with that little bow on the top. Here's the last one. I cut some out. Here's the last one. We're doing the letter Y, and that will finish all the ghosts attached to my pennants.
Now, to string my beads, some people use tape. Some people just glue the ends with hot glue. I tend to like to do this. I just take a piece of florist wire and I wrap the tape in it, or wrap the twine in it. And I give it a really good twist. Now, the only thing about this method is when you do it is sometimes this little the thread can come out the end. So there, I make it as tight as I can, and I'll trim it a little bit shorter. Now my thread's ready to go. Okay, now on these, I'm doing white, black, white, because I thought it would. A small white bead, large black, and then another small white. I thought this would be a nice contrast to the with the ghosts. And then when I do these, I always like to go from the front to the back so that the string across is in the middle, or is in the back side of whatever I'm working with. And another white and a black. Now I started with the letter Y, and I will of course now do K, and I will go through and do all of them.
And once I get that all done, we're finished, and I will hang it up on my hoser cabinet, and I'll show you how it looks. I hope you like it. Happy Halloween.